The music bleeds through the door. She is listening to Papa Roach filter through the balcony door as she smokes another cigarette. There is no traffic on the road far below her 12th story apartment. The music isn't too loud. She doesn't want noise complaints. But it is loud enough that she can make out every single word the singer is singing. This is her way of numbing the feelings that are buried just below the surface. She doesn't know exactly how she got here, but she knows it was a fight. The world has never been kind to her, and she has fought for every last inch she has now. Finishing her cigarette, she stubs it out in a Coke can beside her chair and rises with a stretch. It's time to see where the ghosts are hiding in her space. This place has always left her wondering how she can move forward after everyone else has left her to her own devices. No one calls, no one checks in on her. She is an island unto herself. There was a time when the parties didn't stop, where she was the center of it all. She danced, she loved, she felt alive. Those times are behind her now. There is only silence and a rotted, fetid peace that has never felt quite right. She dreams sometimes of the massive amounts of stimulants that have passed through her hands and through her system. Those were the days, she thinks to herself in these brief moments. This is usually followed by a shake of the head and a concession that those times weren't actually as good as her addicted brain is making them. It takes only a minute to remember the screaming and the fights and the abuse of these times not far gone enough. She turns the taps of the shower to start the process of getting clean. It only takes a minute or so for the water to steam the mirrors of the bathroom. She adds a bit of cold water to the mix so she doesn't burn her skin off. If she could take a shower in boiling hot water, she would. The hotter the better was always her motto. Unfortunately, there is a limit to how hot she can make the water, and this fact saddens her. In the shower, the ghost plays tricks with her. They enter her brain and make her think of the people she left behind. People who, at any other time, she would understand needed to be cut like a cancer from her life. In the shower, the ghosts whisper at her and try to convince her that these people need another chance, that this time will be different. She scrubs herself to the point of reddening her skin. She wants to scrub their visage from her mind as to forget they were ever in her life at all. She knows that the ghosts are malevolent, and she scrubs harder trying to silence them. It's no use, though. They will keep whispering to her until the day she is in the ground. Turning off the water, she reaches for a towel. Now that the water is off, she can hear the music playing through the door of the bathroom. The harsh guitars and screamed vocal lines bring a calm that she doesn't get except in these rare moments. She wants to live in these albums until she can come to terms with the pain and hurt that she has caused. She was a black widow not long enough ago. She ate people and spit out their husks, leaving them a shell of themselves. She took pleasure in knowing she could have anyone she wanted, anytime she wanted. That life, although gone, is still too fresh for her to look back on with anything but wonder of how she managed to pull it off. It's the right clothes, the right car, the right drugs at the right times. It was a dance she knew all too well. The clubs were dioramas where she moved all the parts herself. She knew she could walk through the crowds and pick anyone she wanted from that dance floor, take them to the VIP section to have her way with, and they always accepted, and she always won the game. At some point, all this pomp and circumstance began to feel dangerous. It started to feel like this was all she would ever be. She was destined to be a Black Widow and nothing else. There was a fight, an overdose, a hospital room, and a slow realization that if she continued, the actual loser in this game would be her. There was no big goodbye. There was no going away party. She just simply stopped showing up. She figured no one would really notice one less vampire in a sea of vampires. The sheep wouldn't sleep any better because of her exit, as there would always be another bloodsucker to take her place, to fill the void left by her leaving. Wrapped in a towel, She heads to the bedroom as one song seeks into another. She knows that she should be getting ready for bed, but has something else on her mind. She digs in her closet for a photo album that she has kept for years. It is a trophy book of her conquests. She finds it under a pile of clean laundry that still hasn't found hangers. Sitting on the bed, she opens the book to somewhere in the middle. She doesn't know what she is looking for, but she looks at the pictures anyway. There are photos of both men and women who have come and gone, people whom she sucked the life force out of to feed her own ego and proclivities. She always had to be the most fabulous, the most revered. She wanted every head in the joint to turn when she made her entrance. It was the ones who didn't turn their head she ended up targeting. It always the new faces who didn't understand the game that she ended up targeting. They were the ones who she wooed and took to the back room. Their naivete and fresh-face optimism was always their downfall. She would give them everything they had come for. Sometimes they didn't even know they wanted it until it was offered. And then she would suck the life force from their bones until she was satisfied, and they would never not turn their heads again. In the book, she sees the dead-eye stare of so many faces that a tear falls for these poor souls who only wanted to live, only to be taken from and left to rot. She flips the pages and remembers the feeling of power she had. She's the best at what she did. She wonders if any of the countless that came after her can do as well as she could. The record ends and she puts on something different. An old club song comes through the speakers and she lets out a long, world-weary sigh before heading back out to the balcony. She surveys her lonely kingdom while lighting another cigarette and falling silently into her chair. She doesn't feel the chill on her wet head as she sucks leisurely from the glowing death stick perched between her fingers. She used to hate smoking, but she has found a quiet pleasure in the chemical rush that accompanies smoking. She used to be all about the powders and the pills, but it was part of that old life. Those things hold no power these days. There is nothing she wants more to forget than the years spent taking innocence. These days, she is hoping that smoking will do its job and give her a release from this world she no longer owns. It is a slow death, but she's okay with it. In the end, there is no resolve. There is no retribution, no recourse of any kind. She exited the world and no one even batted an eye. She has holed up in this luxury apartment and not one person has sought her out or asked her to come back. She now spends her days floating through the world silently, doing her best not to disturb the goings-on within the world she tries to forget. At night she sits on this balcony and wonders what the point was to all the carnage she rained upon the disaffected world. There are vampires in this world because the world allows them to feed indiscriminately. The world is so apathetic that people contained therein won't even bat an eye if a few of them go missing. They rationalize it down to, I'm still here, and that's all that matters. No one cares the person that they were just talking to, who then ends up on a missing poster. As long as their own bubble doesn't burst, it is every man for themselves. These are the hard truths she has learned after her sudden departure from the scenes that once sated her lust for thrill. The chase was what she wanted. Catching her prey was just a bonus. She notices that she brought the album with her. Her fingers graze a page near the back of the book. The face staring out at her from the page makes her uncomfortable in a way she can't describe. It was one of the last pictures taken in one of the last back rooms she was in. A man, a boy really, who, with those perfect cheekbones and those over-processed white teeth. She can't even remember his name. She doesn't even know if she had ever learned it in the first place. All she can remember is that he wanted to be king of the night scene. He was dead set on being number one. In the end, he was left a shell of himself, sent back to whatever small town he had crawled out of. Sure, he got a good story, but he learned quick what kind of world he was trying to breach. He learned about realizes that her cigarette has burned to nothing while she waxed poetic in her head about a boy she never really knew. She stubs it out in the Coke can and heads back to bed. Noticing that the music has stopped again, she decides the night must come to an end before the sun comes up. She put on her oversized shirt and panties and crawls under the covers. The nights belong to a different kind of spirit now, and she is happy to leave them be. The ghosts in her apartment have quieted down, and she isn't long for sleep. The last thing she thinks before falling asleep is, let the devils play in the garden, what shiny teeth they have.